All right, guys, take a look around here. What do you notice real quickly? Just shoot off some answers. What do you notice real quickly? Come on, rapid fire, rapid fire. Old houses, what else? Main Street just off there, what else? Multifamily apartments, what else? Well, let's say this. Let's play my favorite nursery game. Which one of these things is not like the other? What do you see here that is not like anything else here? There's 3 or 4 answers. This house, what is different about this house?
It's in between commercial and mixed.
Okay. So this is an apartment complex, as there's no other apartment complexes. You see an apartment complex anywhere else? That's to be assigned to you. One of the things I used to do, guys, is go to apartment complexes and work out. If the city has allowed an apartment complex, chances are good they may consider another apartment complex. So I used to go find apartment complexes in residential neighborhoods and work out. Where are the lots? Where are the tear outs? Where are the distressed properties that I can take out and then maybe potentially replace them with apartment complexes? And I used to do zone changes a fair amount where I'd go in and say, hey, they've got this bank repossessed house that I could tear out, and would you rather have this bank repossessed house that's being foreclosed on right now and this lawn right here? I mean, what a beautiful lawn. Or would you like me to tear it out and put in a brand new apartment complex? Or 6 townhomes or 10 townhomes. You got 10 townhomes on that piece of property in Salt Lake across the street, and I guarantee it's not a big piece of land, right? So we're asking questions. We're in negotiation with the city. We're in talking to them about options. Okay, so the one off you're not seeing that we mentioned here is this. This is an apartment complex. How many units?
10,
8, 6 or 8.
We're not sure. The answer is we're not sure. So the other thing you need to do, you need to learn how to identify what a property is by looking at it from the street. And there's a couple of ways to do that. Can I tell you real quickly on the older, smaller stuff how to do that? First one is meters. So gas meters, electrical meters. The other one is the number of garbage cans. Garbage cans. How many garbage cans? The other one is mailboxes. So let's look across the street here. You guys said this is an old house. How many mailboxes are right there?
2.
How many garbage cans? Sets of garbage cans?
2.
2 sets of if you scoot it back a little bit, there's 2 gas meters right here. 2 gas meters on the side of the house. So you can identify which one of these things is not like the other. So we have the apartment complex, we have the duplex, we have the commercial orthodontic shop right here, and then what else is not like the other? Guys, you gotta really think here. What else is not like the other in this immediate neighborhood? We have a brand new house here. There's a brand new house in the middle of these older homes. So let me tell you this deal real quickly. We found this piece of property. We did this deal right here. It was for sale by rent, or for sale by owner. We came out here and the bank had repossessed it. A bank actually had this listed. We put it under contract at $90,000, duplex. And they had it listed on the MLS and it was listed as not a duplex. And the reason was they called the city and said, is this a duplex? And the city said what?
No.
Let me have you write this down. You are the authority on whether something is a duplex or not the city. What does that mean? It means if you know what you're doing and you know what to look for and you know the language to speak with the city, you can get unit conversions where they should exist. 2 separate entries, 2 sets of mailboxes, 2 gas meters, that's a duplex. And the city didn't say said it wasn't a duplex because they didn't want a tenant. A lot of these cities want to try to get some of the older multifamily properties out. So you have to know to go in and what to do on this. And if you're more excited on this, I'll tell you the 5 places you can talk to a city, the 5 ways you talk to a city that they have to give you a legal duplex certificate. Anybody want to learn how to get legal duplex certificates? Anyone else? Anyone else?
Yeah.
So I'll tell you what, worth its weight in gold to learn how to create duplexes where the city says they don't exist. Do you know that I went on a campaign in Payson City? I went down there and I'll tell you a real quick story. So I did a campaign in Payson City where I found a listing on a property for sale. Wasn't one we're going to be able to see it today, by the way. And it said in the MLS remarks, this is not a duplex. The listing agent said this is not a duplex and had like 47 exclamation points. So that prompted me to do what? I called him and said what? Are you sure this is not a duplex? Is this a duplex? And what was his response? Did you not read the remarks? Oh, I put 47 exclamation points. This is not a duplex, this is not a duplex. And I said to myself, this has to be a duplex. Separate entrances, separate meters, separate garbage cans, separate history of one up, one down, separate everything. And the city just was in the mode of, if you don't have a permit from us right now, you're not going to get one. So I went in there and I pushed all the buttons, and of course came out 7 minutes later. So I put an offer on the property, came out 7 minutes later with a duplex certificate from the city, called the listing agent back, and this was probably 14 days into my due diligence, and said, what? Are you sure this is not a duplex? And he freaked out, right? Because he thought I just wasted 14 days of his listing under contract with the intent to get a duplex when it wasn't a duplex. And he said, what? And he was very animated. And the reason he was is because he'd been asked so much, right? And I was just having fun. You got to have fun. So anyways, so I go into the city and I push the buttons to get the certificate. And I call him back and said, are you sure it's not a duplex? And he said, what? No, it's not a duplex. Don't ask me again. Are you wasting my time? And I said, I just want to call and let you know I have a duplex certificate. And he goes, you have what? I said, yeah, I went to the city. And they said it was a duplex. And he goes, no, because I called and asked myself. And I go, oh, you must not have known the right things to say. And he goes, what is that? And I said, well, I have a class coming up in 2 weeks. No, I didn't say that. I just said to him, man, you got to know what you're doing. Get a duplex. So very cool opportunity for us to take a property in after foreclosure for $93,000, put this under contract, immediately listed it for $129,900, started a renovation in the basement. And again, a group came in and said, what? Stop. Guys, one of the things you want to learn is list things for what they're going to be well in advance of what they're going to be arriving. Why? Why would you do that?
Give others the opportunity to make the changes.
Yeah, so you want to hear the listing? You want to hear what the listing said here?
Yeah.
This is a legal duplex. And why was it a legal duplex when the bank told me it was not a legal duplex? Because I drove down to the city and I pushed the buttons that we push with the city, and they gave me a duplex certificate. And we were on our way to creating a legal duplex. So we listed this as, this is a legal duplex, renovation in process, buy at this price for a remodeled duplex up and down, or make an offer now and do the remodeling work yourself. Call for details. Hurry to pick your colors. What did I just say?
Where did you list it?
What did I just say?
Hurry to pick your colors.
Hurry to pick your colors on a flip, on a renovation, on a duplex. I'm telling you guys, some of these words and these phrases really drive people crazy, right? Hurry to pick your colors. Because I found that a lot of people that are doing duplexes were what? Got to think, got to look on the MLS, got to study everything around every deal that you're doing. A lot of them were owner occupants. You can get FHA financing owner occupied on a fourplex or less. So I knew a good part of my market was what? Owner occupied. And it says, hurry to pick your colors. And sure enough, somebody came in, they picked the carpet colors, the paint colors, the tile colors, and they were all colors that were, I said, as long as you pick something that's fairly neutral, we'll do it. And if you guys close on it, great, have at it. So we put it under contract. We got about $6,000 into the work. They offered us $122,000 and to do remaining portions of the work. And we only made about $18,000, but back then that was a lot of money to me. It was a lot of money. I know you guys wouldn't, if there was $18,000 on the ground, rubber banded $100 bills, you wouldn't stop and pick it up. But me, that was a big deal, right? And more than that, it was about momentum. And I was doing lots and lots of these deals. So think, look. Our podcast is called what? Common Things, Uncommon Ways. Uncommon, 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 uncommon. Now the next question is, what do I do next? What's the highest and best use? Guys, there's a thought process that develops here as you start thinking about this and becoming serious about the pursuit of more. That's what highest and best use is. That's what density is. The pursuit of more. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Did it end there?
No.
I'm going to show you a couple of failures today. You want to see my first failure? Anybody?
Yes.
One thing you got to learn. Here's another thing you want to learn if you want to be a success in this business. Pull up the plat of everywhere you're looking. So if I were here and I were looking at the properties that have the county plat tax map up, and I'd be looking at, and I would have noticed, oh my gosh, this is a duplex, and there's a separate lot here. Well, who owns that lot? Well, guess what? I didn't tell you yet. This lot, and behind it, there's another separate lot that doesn't touch frontage. Doesn't have any frontage. There's no access to it. It's a landlocked lot. And I said to the city, well, if I add the landlocked lot in back, can I build a house? And they said, because you can get landlocked lots for what? Next to nothing. Because somebody's just buying a garden at that point, right? They're going to expand their backyard. One of the neighbors is expanding the side of the back. So always look at plat maps. What doesn't make sense? Are there lots that don't line up with what we think? You know, you think from this, somewhere in this grass line to somewhere over here by this driveway is that lot. Well, what if there was another lot here? What doesn't look right? What doesn't make sense? Our primary song, which one of these things is not like the other? That make sense?
Yeah.
Questions?